Okay, so welcome to Social Media Fridays. Each week we gather to uh, think upon the happenings in social media in the previous, I should say, 7 days. With us today we have Masataki Wasa, webmaster of wasaweb.net in the UK, and also a Google top contributor on the AdSense and Google Plus help community. Tony McCreath is Adelaide's leading SEO. He runs a website, websiteadvantage.com.au. Okay, the first thing on our list today, you can play along with us on the Social Media Fridays community on Google Plus. Items of interest that cropped up through the week there and talk about them now. The first one was one from Doc Sheldon. He posted, and Edwin Yonk posted on the Social Media Fridays community. Doc Sheldon said that he'd had the pleasure of knowing the person that's being stalked for a few years now. And he said, so I know for a fact that she held some of those positions, and because I know her character, I have no doubt that she also held those with which I wasn't involved. This kind of crazy stalking is pitiful, pathetic, and need I say, illegal. And the upshot of it is that some person has decided that Miranda M is overstating her bio, and she came out and got involved, in a discussion with the person. I don't know if it's worth it. What do you guys think?
I feel sorry for her.
Yeah,
Sounds like it's a bit relentless, and led her to have to post this to, I guess, reputation management of saying, I know you're seeing this all over the web. This is my side of it. So I wouldn't want it to happen to me.
No, true. And but I mean, how do you deal with somebody that's stalking you?
Did she actually put some sort of restraining order on as well? But there's just, with the internet, it's a bit hard to enforce anything, isn't it?
Mm. Well, I thought, do you remember not so long ago, Al Rimich was making post after post critical of David Ameland.
Yeah.
I thought David's approach was the right one. He ignored it. That episode cost Al a lot of respect in the international SEO community. Yeah, so David was as much in favour of wishing Al well as anybody. I thought he handled it remarkably well. I don't know how Miranda M. I mean, of course she did those things. Of course, they're legitimate on her bio. Why doesn't she just keep on doing what she's doing and ignore that person? They have to be shown up. Success is the best revenge, I think. Living well. A lot of my old enemies have passed on, and I'm still here. Living well is also great revenge. Actually, Angie and I were talking the other day. Everybody has revenge fantasies. Heaven help us if we ever thought we put some of them into practice.
I guess in her case, it's probably a bit different. and because I would have not known about this until she posted about it, whereas in the other case, it was a very public in our field. So I presume this was getting to between her and a client, because that seems who this person was targeting her clients. In fact, calling them and or calling the businesses and saying if she worked there. So getting very personal and beyond just posts on Google Plus. So,
Do we know who the person was or is?
I don't think she mentioned that, but in doing this post, she's actually brought it into our world. So yeah, I don't know if it's going to help her or not. It's made it more everybody aware, so maybe that's good for her, or at least she's getting sympathy.
Yeah. What do you think, Masataki?
I mean, it's always tough, isn't it, if you're placed in that position. And there is little you can do, because once someone, for whatever reason, decides to go after you, then, as Tony said, that there isn't much you can do. I mean, you can, if you could find out the identity of the person and place legal instrument to restrain that person, for example, that's a step. But it's about reputation online, and that is difficult to manage once something like this happens. I just don't wish it happened to anyone. I know it's a platitude, but that's more or less the only thing I can say.
Yeah, it's beyond your typical like reputation issues. Say you're a business or someone does a bad review on you. At least that's a kind of one-off. They've said their piece, they move on. Whereas this sort of thing is, just keeps going and going, and yeah, you've got not much of a chance to have a rebuttal.
Yeah, it's essentially about the person, not about what the person has said or done. It's not the action. It's not the expression of the person that's been targeted. It is the person herself in this instance. And I think that really is nasty and tough. And of course, I think people who know her will be able to make the correct judgment. But if people were to search a name and something comes up, then what sources do you believe? If you don't know the person well, don't know the history,
And
type that person's name into a search engine, see what pops up.
And even if you believe her, it's still a kind of stain there that say you're checking someone out to see if you want to work with them. You don't want to see that sort of stuff going in the background. And so it kind of, it's very hard to not lose out on it.
Yeah, I mean, in the sense that there's always been the case that if you are more prominent, more public person, then you're going to attract all sorts of views about you. But in the end, it will be established. There will be a huge body of documents and opinions and things, and people will know, will have heard of you or know of you, so that they can make their own minds. Whereas if you're not a prominent person, widely known person, then it can be a bit of a problem because the references to you are going to be scattered, are not particularly numerous or voluminous. So these kind of things will have a disproportionate influence, potentially disproportionate influence on people looking at the person's profile. I think many people now routinely search for people's names to just know what this person does or did, or what kind of person this is, so and so forth. To make a snap decision. And if false information is out there, that can harm everyone concerned, in that the person who's been targeted will have his or her reputation tarnished, and the readers, the people searching for this person, will get the wrong impression.
Yeah. And I wonder if this article was actually aimed to push where this guy was actually showing up, because titled it Miranda Miller is a fraud, so maybe that's what he's been posting. And so it's a kind of PR job to get rid of this bad stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that might be title that's been used to push. So what happens with the predictive search thing? If you start to type her name.
That's true, yeah.
And if you could get a rebuttal at the top of the search results.
I'm sorry about that.
Then that's important thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah, if you can get your say in where that is, and because is a fraud maybe a typical search people do just to make sure if you're trustworthy or not. If it's a product, you search for reviews. If it's a business, you might use the word legitimate or something just to see what pops up. So
I think titling that indicates that would be the intent, is to sort of try to push rebuttals above allegations
and get
false information.
people who respect her to spread it. Like if you actually search for that now, she's dominating it, and so if there was anybody there, they've gone now.
Yeah. So I think that's sort of a part of the reputation management, isn't it? Once there are things that you cannot stop, it's out there, then get the rebuttal in and get that in above any of the false accusations, false information that have been written about you. So.
Other ways to request something's removed if it's like if what's the word? If it's untrue. Or is that hard to do?
Not from Google search, but Tim would be the expert on these things. But if it's published on a Google entity, and if you're based in certain jurisdictions, then I'm pretty sure you could you could consult a solicitor, an attorney, and have a letter drafted saying that, look, this is libelous, slanderous. Please remove it. Not from search, but from something like Blogger.
And it's limited to countries as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which makes it hard when you're a modern day international person.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
I should say that the other one that comes to mind is how we dealt with the one for Rob Mars when that nutter took it upon himself to attack him.
Yeah.
Is that resolved yet? He got he removed in his own country, didn't he?
And we created enough pages to push the other pages out of sight.
Oh, right. So you did that sort of thing as well. So these aren't one-off cases. They're happening quite a bit.
Yes, unfortunately, there are strange people in the world, and if you become a target for whatever reason.
Yeah. I just Googled my.
This idiot. It looks like he's got a website. Oh no, this is her. Sorry, forget that I spoke.
I couldn't see any signs of anything that wasn't her or wasn't someone completely different for her name.
Yeah, so I'm not sure that she needed to make posts saying, with the headline, Miranda Miller is a fraud. Maybe it's a little bit of, I'm sure it's not, but it might be a good plan for reverse marketing.
Fred.
Attention, we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Just going to cut my bandwidth down one level.
I just Googled my own name and my Dumb SEO Questions profile's on the first page.
Well, that's good.
It was very good considering the amount of places I've got my name.
Mm-hmm. Onwards in our quest for world domination.
Yeah. See, my YouTube comes up top. Oh no, LinkedIn comes up top. Which is another way to control your name on the internet, is make sure you're on all those places. LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, SlideShare, Facebook, Dumb SEO Questions, and my own website. That's the front page. Hello. Girish. Is that how you say it?
I beg your pardon? Hi, Girish. How are you?
I'm fine. What about you?
No, I'm fine too, thank you. Tell me something. You work in social media in Chandigarh, India.
Yeah.
Your client base, where would most of your clients be based?
Actually, I'm working on SEO and SEO on both. And currently, I'm working mainly in SEO. But I am trying to utilize my most.
Fair enough. I'll get a run list for you so that you can. Do you still have that link to the run list from last night? I'll get that run list for you, and you can catch up. We're actually on question 1 on the run list at the moment.
Thanks, man. Is Chandigarh where the Golden Temple is?
No, that's Srinagar, isn't it?
Yeah, it's up that direction. Oh, he's gone.
Yeah. I have that effect on people.
Just doing my form of stalking.
Girish, in the comments on the chat in the Hangout here, you can see the run list. If you're watching the Hangout right now, you can see the questions that we're talking about, or the issues we're talking about in the Social Media Fridays community on Google+. Well, will we move on to the next?
Yeah, go for it.
Right, look, I'm going to skip number 2, and we can come back to that one later, if we have time. Number 3 on your run list is titled Michael King, Ideas for Data-Driven Social Media. It was posted by Tony McCreath. Tell us about it, mate.
Yeah, that was from SMX, and I thought he came up with quite a few good ideas there. I'm just trying to find my little point list. Where is it? There you go. Mike King comes up with a lot of good ideas, and it kind of he's bringing data and social together. So some ideas on how to analyze and discover things rather than just posting. Things like where to find your influencers and I forgot the start. So it says it's talking about ways to use AdWords to find out the demographic data, which you can get. AdWords will tell you demographics of websites, and so if you know where your potential customers hang out, you can work out what they're interested in. You can also use AdWords for your keyword tool to do that sort of analysis. Following your, sitting there and listening, which is, I think that's something I need to do a lot more, is actually see what these potential customers are doing and where they're going. And all this is just gathering data to find out what you're really doing and what content to write and who to write it to where and that sort of stuff. Trying to think. Oh yeah, the Facebook ad data I thought was quite clever. Facebook ads are you can target very well, and you can actually see as you target the ads the size of the people left, so you can play around with it to kind of see which demographics have plenty of people on it. So that could be a good way to work out where there's a lot of an audience to go for. Yeah, so I thought he came up with a lot of good ideas in there.
Did you get time to have a look at this, Matsutake?
Not really, I'm afraid.
Okay.
I flicked
We
through
all
the
have to take it to watch.
Okay, if you're viewing, you'll find these items on the Social Media Fridays community on Google+. I'm going to move on to number 4, which is Microsoft and Google team up to sue the federal government over NSA spying. Anybody up to speed with this? If you're viewing, you find these items on the Social Media Friday. Somebody's running our Hangout in live, are they?
That was me. I clicked on the wrong link. Where is it?
Girish in our comment sections asked if I'm posting in Google+. All of the backlinks of that post are no follow to my website. Can I take a do follow link for my website? Not in a post, only from the profile.
Yeah. You plus one. So the NSA thing, it seems this is more to do with NSA requesting how often they request to get information rather than the sneaky stuff they do. I think it covers that, but it's also that these companies have to give up all this information, so they're trying to protect on that as well. And what's the case of the NSA can request data on things in America, which also means anybody around the world who's using something like Gmail, the NSA can access that. Is that right?
It's not quite like that. If the NSA wants direct data on a particular person, they have to go to a specially convened court and get a warrant. But if you are anything other than an American citizen on American soil or not, they don't need a warrant. The NSA can legitimately take the data from companies like Google, Microsoft, Yahoo, Twitter. All of those companies by law have to comply, and without a warrant provide data on Tony McCreath of Adelaide. We have no protections. But it's not new. They've been doing it for years. In the 90s, the FBI started putting these munches into telcos' data centers, and they just sniff everything that is going past. All the data that goes past, they draw it all in, analyze it. It didn't help them stop 9/11, but they pull all that data in, and they do it with the consent of the Australian government.
In fact, yeah, they're all at it. When I worked in telecom software engineering, I remember there's a requirement that the government have the ability to trace all phone calls. It always had to be built into the software, and that requirement was given by more than one government, as far as I knew. Is there any country that Google can put all their servers so it's protected, or is it more about where Google's officially a business?
Well, that's an interesting thing, isn't it? I mean, when it comes to tax, Google is partly an island, partly in the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look, I think regardless of where the data is, the NSA is entitled to take data from Google, regardless of where it's stored. There's also the question of data sovereignty. For argument's sake, if you're in Australia and operating in the cloud, more likely than not, your data will be stored in Singapore. And the Singapore government claims sovereignty over any data stored on the island.
So they can just take it?
That's the theory. I don't think they would. They'd lose a lot of business.
There seems quite a battle on a lot of angles. Like Google and Facebook are talking about trying to secure up, doing SSL and securing on that end. But what's the use of doing that when they can just come in the back door and take the data anyhow?
And also, I mean, it's a bit tongue-in-cheek when they're creating and collecting millions of dollars in payments to make it easy for the interface between these data centers and the security forces. There's another type of data that they get too, which is the metadata of phone calls. It doesn't get the actual call, but it gets the number called, the number that made the call, and the duration, the location of the sender and the receiver, but not the actual call itself. They can only look for patterns. You'd be safe, Tony. No one ever rings you up.
My phone rang earlier.
No, it's whom you call that matters.
What was that, Mr. Taki?
It's whom you call that matters, not who calls you. Well, no, not quite.
Yeah. I should get that app that randomly calls you every once in a while. I think actually it was Virgin Australia. I think they did do I don't know if it was an app or if it was just a phone number you can call, and it would call you back 5 minutes later with a random excuse. So you dial the number to get out of a bad date type thing, and it'd call back saying your cat's died or something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think this is just Google and Microsoft. Is it Google and Microsoft in this article? I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's Microsoft and Google. I think they're just posturing. I mean, they've been collaborating for years, and it's not a criticism. They have to by law. My only grouse about any of this is that we were conned. We were conned into believing that Google was fighting for us, and it simply wasn't true. If they hadn't made such a big thing of it, it wouldn't have been so bad. Because, I mean, you expect your data to be monitored. But to be told that they're not cooperating and find out that they are cooperating, for that we have Edward Snowden to thank.
Yeah. And so maybe this thing about SSL and secure connections between the emails is just their way to distract from what the true problem is.
Exactly. All right. You go on. Sorry, Tony.
I might have to start PGPing all my emails now.
No, just if anything is really important, send it by post.
Can they intercept that as well? Well, at least post doesn't go to America on the way to a house down the road.
Yeah, and I think there's a greater degree of protection, isn't there, for post? Obviously, if you're sending illicit things, then that's going to be intercepted.
Mm.
But in terms of opening letters, I don't think they're meant to do that. I think there are in many cases legal protection for letters.
Well, they might have a hot iron ready just in case.
A steamer and an iron.
Right. We done that one?
Yeah, let's call that dead and buried. Next is number 5. Oh, no, I'm muted. No, I'm not muted. What a victory! Twitter launches website tracking tags. Again, Tony, you're the expert on this. Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, I think we were talking about this sort of subject in one of the previous ones, is that Twitter and Facebook have these widgets and things on your website, and are they going to use that? And in this case, both of them in the same week have announced that they are. So I can't say for certain because the articles are quite vague, and I think it's all coming up. But it seems like Twitter will, if you've got stuff embedded on your website and you do advertising with Twitter, you will be able to what they call remarket to people who visited your website. So the scenario is someone visits your website and they have a trackable Twitter account. When they go back to Twitter, you can deliberately advertise to them. So you can advertise to people who have been to your website. And you can, it's a very powerful form of marketing because they've already shown interest. They've been there, didn't do anything. So getting in their face, or you can call this stalking, we're on the same subject. You can basically follow them around Twitter. So that's kind of the direction Twitter's going at the moment. And Facebook announced that they have been, from what it looks like, they've been gathering data from people from websites that they have Facebook widgets on, and they are going to actually pull that data in and allow advertisers to take advantage of it. But they're not going to see the data itself, but they called it browser history of a person. So from that browser history of the websites that person went to that has Facebook stuff on, they can work out a demographic of what they're interested in, and then advertisers can target certain demographics. So that one sounds a bit broader. I think that's a bigger. Facebook are doing a bigger thing for the advertisers there, but both of them are there. They're going to make profit out of, they're using information from the widgets you put on your website.
Yes, I mean, and you can't complain really. I mean, if you were asked to pay $2 a month to belong to Twitter, I think most people would not pay it. So it's you have to pay for the electric light bill one way or the other.
Yeah. And with Twitter, it's actually whoever's got the widget is the one who gains from it. Whereas Facebook, you're part of a network, so you have a widget to help other people. It's a bit like getting free Wi-Fi. You give away your Wi-Fi, part of your Wi-Fi for free, and you get to use other people's Wi-Fi for free.
Yeah, but then you'd have to advertise via Facebook system, right? Because
yeah, so it's only there's no mention of doing the adverts on the actual widgets or anything like that yet. But they did actually announce a change in their whatever Facebook call it, the plugin for websites, and supposedly it's a neater and a lot faster. That might have gone hand in hand in the new tracking code that they put in it.
yeah, and because that would be tracking, if you have a widget, I suppose that means the sort of follow box, the social plugins, right? So that'd be
Be interesting to know which ones do track.
Yeah, and
What-
so yeah, sorry. Lots of sites have those. So it'd be interesting to know um, what sites with these plugins will have to state in their privacy policies.
It's very similar to how AdSense works in
I think so, yeah.
what's being. And do you have to do a privacy policy for showing AdSense adverts?
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, exactly. You have to say that. Yes, you
Yeah.
have to say how it works, and that your behavior may be tracked, etc. So
'Cause, yeah.
if Facebook is going to do something similar, then publishers will have to do the same. But the difference may be that it may be applicable if you have social plugin, even if you do not advertise with Facebook, and there's no sort of equivalent of AdSense is there for Facebook. So publishers can't have ads served by Facebook on their sites.
Yeah, so it's kind of a different way around.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just thinking the Twitter is remarketing just like Google, and Google require you to do a opt-out clause and things like that on the website. So I presume with Twitter, you would have to enable it because you have to do remarketing-based advertising. So I bet you there's some requirements in there. The Facebook one, yeah.
No, I suppose it's covered by the Facebook terms of service, so that if you have an account with Facebook, then you agree to be tracked wherever there are plugins, sites, I suppose. So
Because they're only
so publishers with social plugins probably won't have to, make a special mention of that because it'll be covered by the Facebook side of things.
And I think Facebook do an opt-out, but it's a bit convoluted. Your typical nobody will work out how to do it anyhow type opt-out. But yeah, so on Facebook, it must be on the Facebook end that your use of Facebook, where the adverts show are you've signed the agreement that they can do this. And from what I've read, they've been collecting your web browsing history for quite a while now. So that bit's not new. It's now they're actually using the data.
Yeah.
So, but yes, as you say, it's these guys have got to make the money, so they've got to do that combination of good user experience with advertising. That's how the world works.
Yeah, and Facebook knows a lot about people, or they have the information to know a lot about a lot of people.
Yeah.
So the question is how well can they use that, interpret those data, and serve relevant ads?
I guess over time they'll get better and better at processing that information. So even without getting any more information, they will target people better. They'll get those demographics sorted out better. In fact, another announcement was they've made it easier for you to say I don't like these adverts as on a kind of type of advert. So that again, that's feedback information for them. So they can keep tuning it up and Skynet. Know everything.
Yeah, I mean, knowing what people don't like to see is also useful. So.
In fact, that could be even more useful. It's more of a proactive action you've done.
Yeah. And people might be thinking, oh, these ads are annoying. I'm going to, click the X mark, get rid of them. And whilst you're doing that, you're actually giving more information to these companies to target you with more ads and bombarding you with more ads.
Oh, I wonder if the advertisers get any information on which adverts are getting blocked and things like that, so they can use that to refine and improve their ads. I'm just about to get rid of Zoops or Zoosk.
Zoosk. Yeah. Yeah. Well, whenever I sign into Facebook, which doesn't really happen that often, I still see essentially dating sites, credit cards, and steroids ads. So it must be gender and age group.
It's got to work good for Facebook, because if they put relevant ads on, they make money. These irrelevant ads are just taking up impression space, and not making money. So the better, which Google AdWords has gone through this for years, is the better you can match the advert to the user, the more money you make per impression. I actually read an article on that, that AdWords is still a cost per million type based thing. It's all about how much money you can make per impression, because that's what you've got a limited commodity of. They've got X million spots where adverts can show, and you want to make as many dollars as possible per spot. So you want to increase that click-through rate.
Yeah.
So being able to get rid of the irrelevant stuff, that should be a good revenue builder for Facebook. And make people.
Yeah, and if you cross-match with demographic data and things like that, it's with the scale that they operate. I mean, I think it's quite frightening how well they should be able to, theoretically speaking, target ads. Yet at times they still serve you with, dating sites or anything. What?
It's the advertiser who controls who they target, and I don't think Facebook's got the equivalent of a quality score that Google has, and that seemed to be a good way of, in Google's world, to get rid of the adverts that are irrelevant and have the relevant ones float to the top. So yeah, I don't think Facebook has that sort of quality score. It's just a simple cost per click bidding system. So maybe this is a way of them getting that sort of quality score type data. If you get crossed out enough times, quality score goes down, and we're not going to show your ads as much as someone who gets clicked on more. So I'm going to be crossing out quite a few adverts for a while, I think.
No, rebel! Don't help those. Don't help the advertisers. Let them chase you. Don't do the hard work. No, I do find it sort of slightly reassuring when the ads are off target, because then that demonstrates that they don't know me that well.
Well, the advertisers don't.
Yeah. Well, yes, at least.
The ones with money. Good luck on them to, if they can improve the ads, I think that's a win for everybody. The advertisers do better, Facebook does better, and we get less spammy rubbish in our Facebook profiles.
I wonder if concurrently with this one we should also talk about item 6 on your run list, which is why Facebook's organic reach throttle may be better for brands than they think.
Yeah, actually, we're kind of leading to that. Who was it who posted that?
It was posted by Tony McCreath.
But originally by Mark Tropagan, and I thought it was a really good article, and one of those ones where you're going through that I agree. You kind of, as being in the industry, I guess maybe others, get a little bit too focused on how it affects the advertisers and the businesses on things like Facebook, and forgetting about how it affects the actual users who are the reason Facebook exists in the first place and can have advertisers. So I think totally agree that they've got to clean up the feed. The feed's just too busy. So make businesses have to pay for it.
And so is that all we're going to speak on the Facebook news feed?
So yeah, I just say I think he's right that in their businesses are complaining about it's harder for them to get into the feed. In a way, again, Facebook's trying to do a win-win. It's what the users want is definitely something. So they don't want all these businesses getting crummy little status update posts in their feed, and so they've got to get that balance right. And if Facebook make a bit of money from doing the balance and push them to the side of the feed rather than the top, I'm not complaining.
Fair enough. All right. Then can we move on to the article about Zuckerberg criticizing President Obama over surveillance?
Mm-hmm.
Will we do that?
I'm good.
All right. Let me just say something on this. I think it's just an incredible cheek for Facebook to start talking about criticizing someone. That Obama's been the one that's been transparent over this. Zuckerberg has been conning people for years. What a cheek for him to start complaining about surveillance. He had his choice years ago when he should have gone public and said, he didn't want to comply, or he should have done something like Lavabit did when they closed their entire service down, rather than comply with something that they thought was immoral.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Is he just feeling a bit left out because Google and Microsoft did something?
Probably. I suppose it's what you do when you've only got $30 billion.
Yeah, plenty of spare time.
And so that's all we get from that article, which is about all that he's worth. All right, guys, did you get time to watch Sergey Brin talk at the coding conference?
Yeah, I did my homework.
I did too. Did you, Masataki?
I listened to the final 10 minutes or so, the bit that you highlighted. I mean, you shared the message at 6 a.m. my time. You can't seriously expect me to listen to the whole thing.
Do it in your sleep 3 times.
I think that's the meatiest article we're dealing with today. He didn't say a lot on Google Plus. Did you get anything from it other than his personal opinion is he's not a good person for social media. But I mean, apart from his personal opinion, do you get anything from him, from what he said?
I don't think there were many clues.
What about you, Mr. Taki?
What I thought was interesting was that, can't exactly remember, but he answered a question with a kind of question, didn't he, about what Google Plus is?
I can't remember. I can't recall it.
I don't think it really is.
Oh, perhaps I was hallucinating. I don't know. No, it's not a question with a question, but in a sense that was asked about Google Plus, and then he responded as sort of platform, product, or something else. So, it's a sort of definitional issue, as it were, if you like. Then he started to talk about photos and,
Yeah, I remember the photos.
But before that, I thought, because I think the photos were sort of illustrations, demonstrations of how he sort of uses it. But I think that's the thing about Google Plus, is that is it a product? Is it a platform? Is it identity layer for Google? I think there's still that element of what would be the right word? Ill-defined amorphousness about Google Plus.
Well, I think that Google Plus started out as a collaborative platform because, like, it had its roots in Google Wave, and so I have no doubt that was their intention. But as you know, I've said in over the last 5 or 6 weeks, and nothing that's been coming from Dave Besbris or Larry Page has refuted what I said. I think they're going. I think that the days of Google Plus, as we know Google Plus, are numbered, and it will become more of a thing to back up your photos, back up. You'll have the chats, but it won't be convenient for you to sit here and have long discourses on Google Plus. The editor doesn't provide for it, and the design of the page, will be slanted towards auto awesome images rather than communication from a human in the form of text.
That's a reflection of the wider population, isn't it, of the users, how they want to use it.
I would have thought that the population of Google Plus leans towards the people that do communicate in text.
Yeah, I mean, what would be the best way to express this? I think initially, yes. I mean, people who started to use Google Plus, I think, had what would be the right word? A positive reason. I mean, it was something that you went into using, and I think people started to use it as a tool of communication, means of communication. But if Google wishes this product to be a big thing, then it has to tap into something that has a lot of potential in terms of users. Many of whom do use Google products, whether it's Gmail or Blogger or whatnot. And photos seem to be the big thing. When you think about some of the biggest things that have been coming out in recent times, you think about Instagram, you think about Pinterest, So the idea is that, yeah, okay, the photos seem to be a big thing, and Google already has the video production side of things. Well, not production, sorry, but YouTube platform. So it, and the Picasa Web albums were good. I thought it was a decent product, but it didn't have that elements of Pinterest and Instagram and so on and so forth. So it does seem to make sense that these services are popular and that there are huge potential for developing that. And it wouldn't surprise me that Google made a decision to concentrate on those because they think that's where the potential is in terms of growth.
Yeah.
Definitely, Sergey was talking about images, and that seemed to be his slant on it. He definitely made it clear that he doesn't know much about the social media side of things.
Yeah, and I think one thing that Google has up its sleeves is the local side of things, the maps, local information, and I think with that sort of change over to Google My Business from local Google Plus pages, I think that's an indication that it's looking into that as well. So finally making sure about integrating the local side of things into the platform.
Yeah, because now you can also merge if you had the two separate. So
you can't merge.
You transfer the local, can't you?
Yeah.
Take the heart out.
No, we've had a bit of an issue with the use of the word merger because people think that you can merge two things into one. But what happens is that, yeah, if you have a brand page, you can then associate that with an entity on a map on Maps, and the current local page will be demoted to a brand page. So you can merge two into one. It's just deciding which one to attach with your local entity. So yeah, but I think that's one area I do think Google should really concentrate on because it has a lot of information and it links up with search, it links up with maps. Though, as I've mentioned before, it's quite scary that many businesses don't seem to be aware of it at all.
Yeah. And it's where they're a lot stronger than, say, Facebook. I know my experience on the Facebook thing, I haven't really got into the localized business aspect of it. It just doesn't seem to gel. Maybe because I use Google Maps, and so it's the first port of call.
How about Foursquare? How does that integrate with other platforms?
It posts on Facebook and Twitter, and I think it integrates well with Facebook. But again, businesses don't really know, at least here anyhow, they don't know that you can claim your business and put coupons on or something like that. You can actually enhance your business listing on Foursquare. But it's probably because me and the other guy is not enough of a market for them to bother with it. I see that there's quite a few in the area on Foursquare, but I don't think there's enough to get that critical mass that businesses care about it. Most of them have never heard of it. I think very different in the US as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I mean, and of course the problem is that you cannot know what you don't know. That sounded weird, but you don't know how much potential customer you're losing because you're not on a particular platform. There's no way to measure that really or know about it. So to mention an example I think I've referred to before, a rental restaurant that was marked closed or relocated on Google Maps because they hadn't verified their local listing, and they're blissfully ignorant of the existence of its local page. And if you look at it, if you looked up this restaurant's name, you just say closed or relocated. You just don't know how many potential customers you've lost because it's listed as closed or relocated on Google Maps. That's really impossible to know. And I think many businesses are in that position. So when there's a plethora of platforms, you just don't know.
Yeah, you can't try them all. I was actually thinking with Google Places is like a couple of weeks ago, it provides insights. So once you've claimed it, you actually do know what traffic's going on and has been going on. And they've just spread that to all Google pages, I think. I think that's quite...
It's brand as well, so it's actually quite interesting because then you can see by what kind of post you get most traction. So you can say photographs have, if you shared an image, then that has resulted in so many comments, so many views. You can see per post views per posts, and that's really interesting.
And just even at the raw level, like for small businesses, I had a weapon to go to my client and say, you're getting 50 people look at this page every day. Should we do something about it? And they go, why aren't we? For a local business, 50 people, it's like 50 people walking past your front door. And like you say, if the sign says closed, you're just telling them to walk away. And so that information, I think Google should actually play with that a bit more. But, for people who claim businesses and they're sitting idle, maybe a little email to them going, here's this potential business you're losing because you're not being active on Google+. Do you get that on Facebook? Do you get that on Twitter? Because you're already getting it and you're not doing anything. See if they can, because if they can get the businesses to be more active on Google+, that all just improves the experience for the users and gets more users on it and things.
Yeah, and they do get, and Google does give quite a lot of information, demographic data as well. So, it's pretty useful in that sense.
And you can also track from Google Plus visitors to your website, so you can see, I think, 5 Google Webmaster Tools. Actually, I think you need to put special tracking code in, but then you can actually see which in Google Webmaster Tools if it's a Places impression, and also if they go to your website, it came from there. So you can get information from there as well on how much traffic's going on. So it's quite a lot of stuff you can get out of it. And yeah, I think a lot of businesses just don't realize how much traffic's going on there.
I see we've been joined by the Honourable Tim Capper and Rob Mars. Girish has dropped off. We're talking about Sergey Brin talking on social media in a 1 hour and 9 minute interview. He didn't say a lot. He didn't mention the fact that he's been bonking the Google Glass marketing manager. That wasn't part of his spiel.
Oh, was the question asked?
Well, they asked, what have you been doing all year? And he mentioned Google X. He's been working on, I wasn't sure if they said Google Sex or not, but they mentioned the self-driving cars. And
what a waste of time and money.
You know, they're building 1 or 200 of those.
What a waste of time and money. Have they not seen those Volvo truck ads from like, last year, the year before? They had a freaking squirrel driving the thing. I mean, come on, self-driving cars. I'd rather have a squirrel drive the car.
With a hat.
Yeah, it's just...
Uniformed squirrels. Yeah.
The whole idea was talking about they kind of just hover around the cities and you just kind of hail one down like a taxi without a driver. I'm just thinking, how long are those cars going to last in the average city, especially in the States? And it wouldn't be good for a drive-by shooting because they only go 25 miles an hour, don't they?
Well, that could be quite classic, actually. Yeah, you hail one of them down. You say, right, take me down this road.
Hands are free.
Hands free. You've got plenty of time to aim, fire, unload your clip, really hit your targets so there's no witnesses. And then it drops you off around the corner nice and gently. Thanks a lot, mate. Clean getaway car. Bye-bye.
And you're anonymous. Apart from they can probably run down the street faster than you.
Yeah, but you're in a hands-free environment. You've got a fully automatic weapon. You should, in theory, have a good couple of good couple of spare magazines. Don't go unprepared if you're going to do a drive-by shooting. Do you know what I mean? It's just these gangbangers. They just wind me up. They're never prepared. Maybe some fragmentation grenades. I'd probably put some claymores down also, just for good measure in terms of escape and evasion. You've got to do it right.
Boxes of stuff. There's no there, loads of room.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think so. Basically, they're going to have these things driving around the cities, and they're going to charge. And then they'll be showing you Google ads all over the bloody place on the interior. What they haven't showed you is like the glass on the windows is actually one of those like interactive digital glass things. So once you get in, you can't actually see around you. All the windows are just covered in Google ads. And then when you get out, you're basically like Clockwork Oranged.
Subliminal ads.
Yeah, just Clockwork Orange. Go Google! Ah! Come on, it's a waste of time. No, they're built out of fiberglass. All you need is one massive SUV just to ding it, and like half the thing falls off.
At least you'll be relaxed. Isn't that better when you're in an accident and you're completely oblivious?
Yeah. I don't know. Did they come with airbags?
They didn't look like it.
No, it didn't look like it, but yeah, they wouldn't get around European road safety testing. And they look cute. That's another problem. Will they bring out the GT versions and the RS versions and the yeah, because if you're gonna be manly, you can't be getting into like a little ladybug thing, can you? You want to be getting into a manly version, like a GT or an RS, souped up one, low shock.
A convertible would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
You sit in the back.
Except if you're driving at 25 miles an hour, people will probably think it's just like a little litter bin if it doesn't have a roof on. It'll be like, oh look, a little bit. Oh look, there's my litter bin. Oh yeah. Fact. Google, that's an idea. Litter bins that just move around the streets, the pavements. Perfect. Do something useful.
And sweep up as they go.
Yeah, yeah. And then because they move, they can actually like go over, like if somebody's dropped gum, which, sticks to pavements, you can go over, then it lowers itself down, and then it creates like a steam, suction, vacuum clean thing, and off it goes again. do something useful. That would be spot on. Keep the streets clean, free. They could probably come up with some biomass organic mulcher at the same time. So then basically at the end of the day, the thing just, parks up, and instead of waste, it just, you turn on a tap, and then out comes the biomass fuel, which then goes straight back into the sorted. We just solved the whole oil industry problems.
It could turn the chewing gum. It could turn the chewing gum into iPhone 6s.
Yeah, it just has little. Oh no, it'd probably be Android for Google, wouldn't it? It would just drop out little Samsung Galaxies doop, 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 along the way. Little jelly bean.
I must say, he said something I thought was a little bit strange. He said, Google, let me try and remember. He said, Google performs best when it's innovating. I don't see any reason for Google to move into any competitive spaces. And I'm sitting there listening to him, and I'm saying, shit, hotels, airlines, airline bookings, shopping, what are you thinking of? I mean, what a lot of bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. But the thing is, he's only one part of the whole puzzle, isn't he? You've got all the other marketing guys, all the other ad guys, all the strategy guys, all the other money guys. Then you've got entire shareholders. You've got, do you know what I mean? He's just one tiny, tiny little piece of the puzzle.
And he's in the playground. He's in the Google X stuff, and so he's probably meaning that anything cool and fun that he can play with, he doesn't want to do it as a competitive thing. He wants to invent something new.
Did you see how Tesla Motors yesterday open sourced all their patents?
Yeah.
Which is, now that is a really cool thing for a company, Their theory behind it is, just everybody hanging on to their own little ideas. It doesn't stimulate anything. And the whole idea behind it is we're going to open source all our patents. People can check them out, designers, blah, 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 everyone. And maybe make something better.
The other thing is that Tesla, they sell all that they can produce. They haven't advertised because they sell every car that they make. They don't have a lot of, like a big parking lot full of cars. As soon as one's finished, it goes to a buyer. So I suppose they want to see, also, they're not going to become mainstream at their rate of production. So maybe with other players producing Tesla-type cars, it will actually benefit them.
Yeah, but also it's all the little bits of technology that goes into all the little other bits, and that's what they're saying is we've got a whole set of engineers, etc. But another engineer, and it's the same thing with a different pair of eyes. Another engineer might look at that and go, actually, if we moved that spring down there to there, that would make this, this thing work better. And that's what they want to stimulate. They just want to stimulate creativity and engineering creativity out there for everyone. Just, go mad. Which is cool. It's really good.
Yeah. Well, look, I suppose we should do what we should do our job here. Otherwise, we're falling down a bit. On your run list, we've got a number 9, and that is 25 social media ideas for the advanced search marketer. It was an interesting article posted on bruceclay.com by Jane Westervelt. She's also got a website, simplyoptimized.com, I think it is. I'll put a link in the chat for those of you too lazy to open up your run lists. There you go.
I think we covered a few bits of that on some of the other articles. Oh, you skipped one, didn't you?
Yeah. We'll cover it. We'll probably cover it better with a few beers.
Oh, we got some this week.
Oh, Chase Bank just emailed Tim and told him that he's owed 10 million.
Yeah, you gotta love them emails.
Better have a look at this article myself.
So we covered the one about Michael King with his social SEO, which I thought was good.
Mark Trepagan, I see Mark Trepagan has made a statement here. I've got to disagree with you, Mark. He said under the heading, paragraph headed REL Author and Beyond, he said, Google has confirmed that author trust is a factor. Bullshit. Isn't it? Am I wrong? He said they look at the overall trust that people seem to have in an author. No, I think that's dribble. Sorry, buddy.
I think there's kind of been vague mentions of the idea of it. I think Matt at one point did say there were some, I think it was kind of pre-author that he was talking about that sort of concept.
I think maybe what he's also referring to is, you know, was it December or November last year? We kind of had that authorship algo, and people that had kind of abused adding their authorship everywhere had it pulled. And once you've tidied everything up and consolidated, let's say, your, I don't know what you want to call it, author rank, your authority rank or whatever, you know, once you consolidated that, instead of spreading it too thin, your, you know, they started coming back. I mean, some of the ones I contribute to still is not displaying my, so maybe that's what he's going at. There is some kind of algo out there that determines who gets their authorship displayed, who gets the secondary display, just saying by Tim Kappa, you know, without the actual image. So there is definitely something in play there now.
Yeah, but that's visibility, isn't it? It's not necessarily ranking.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely. I mean, there's no. Yeah, ranking is another story. But this is there's something in play which decides who gets, you know, at the minute, and how do you work at it, and how do you get that back to displaying. Could that be some form of authority kind of thing, looking at where you've published, how you've published, and how that's been engaged? Okay, you can have your face back in the SERPs. And could that be looking at other things? Could it just be the profile image? Could it be looking at other things within the whole thing? But I still think social is just far too noisy for them to get a grip of. I mean, it's going to take a while.
If there is a signal, it's a weak one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of Mark's, but I think he pushes the envelope with this author rank thing. I mean, it really is just something for gullible people, I think. Like he goes on to.
Well, I think he's calling it author authority rather than author rank. Because that rank thing just, man, that just caused so many flipping.
It's pretty rank, isn't it?
But nothing he's saying is actually kind of going to harm anybody. It's all still good advice. It may be valuable in the future. And in fact, most of this particular set of slides I thought was just, it's stuff that's been covered a million times already. There's nothing groundbreaking. It's write good stuff and put good stuff to your name, and maybe in the future that's going to do you good. So there's no harm in going that direction. I think it's good advice in general.
On the pro side, I think Mark's doing an amazing job with Eric Enger and his digital marketing excellence show and so on. That's really making miles. Ah, you've joined us, Meher.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. We have Masataki, Rob, Tim, and Tony.
Hi. It took me time to find this event. I mean, I was checking on community page for that, and I said, whoa.
There was an event page, wasn't there?
No. There's no event on the community page where it, whereas it should be there. I mean, I think, Jim created. I mean, you started the event, right, Jim?
Yeah,
you did it from your own, profile. You should be doing it from community profile so that people can find this on this,
Right.
Well, actually, I posted it publicly.
No, it should be. See, I mean, if you're doing it a community, thing, it should be from the community page. There is exactly where people are going to find. There are events going on. Otherwise, they would have to come and check out your profile first. Exactly the list of event is into your profile, not onto the page. That's what I was wondering. Yeah, where is the event? I had to find it out finally.
But on the community, can't you go to the link on Damasceno questions to this page?
No, I couldn't find that link.
Okay,
I just Google it under general events to find
That's exactly I had to do. That's exactly I had to do.
I posted it on my timeline there. So timeline? Am I mixing my socials?
Yeah, I'll take it on board, Meher. But yeah, the link that we have on the community is this one. I'll put it in the chat.
Actually,
but I have to admit, it is a bit obscure because you'd have to click on the latest one to get to it. But if I don't fix it quickly, if you just search on Google for Social Media Fridays, I'm sure the will show up.
You can share the event directly into a community. That might be the best way. And when it's first created,
that is the exact best way of doing it, because the community is all about the thing. I mean, we're doing all the discussion, but it's not coming on to the event segment on the community. It should be right there. I think next time you guys create an event, you should do it from the events. I mean, the community event page.
Yeah, point made. I will definitely do that this week.
It's already done. Well, for this one. I've just put it up there.
So next time when you're creating an event, create it directly from the community page, the event segment, and then it's a public event. People can who are checking out the page can directly come from there. I mean, the community.
I can't create it directly from the community page because I can't get the link from there. But I can create it and then share it to the community page.
Yeah.
That is the best way. Another.
And then you can start kind of getting people subscribing to it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it could be one worth pinning. The next event is the one you pin rather than the previous event.
I beg your pardon?
You know how you pin the posts, and you normally pin the last week's Hangout?
Yes.
Would it be better to pin next Hangout, or?
Yeah, I'll do that.
You can't do both, can you?
No, you can only do one.
Yeah. Maybe alternating on different days.
Mm-hmm.
One thing we don't get on the communities is there's no statistics on them at the moment, are there? The owner doesn't get that either. You just know how many members you got.
Right. Look, looking at our run list, we've covered question 9, which leaves only question 2. But I think I'll pass on that one because I'll probably just go saying something critical about my good friend again. I don't want to do that.
It relates to the same set of slides you did, anything.
Okay. So we've done it again for yet another week. And to the viewers watching us at the moment, thank you very much for your support. It's the support from people like you that makes what we do worthwhile. We'll be back at the same time next week. If you'd like to join us, please let us know via the Social Media Fridays community on Google+. But until then, we'll see you next week for 4 p.m. Friday Australian time.